Henyard says she is endorsing a new board, but not announcing who they are just yet, instead promising to name them later this month. Henyard is under investigation by the FBI.
A shocking turn of events has gripped Thornton Township in Dolton as Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who also serves as township supervisor and has notoriously dubbed herself the super mayor, was arrested by federal agents earlier today. This dramatic development follows years of controversy, including accusations of corruption, reckless leadership, and public stunts that have divided the community and drawn widespread attention for months. Rumors of an FBI investigation into Henyard had swirled, fueled by allegations of misconduct, misuse of power, and questionable decisions. While many speculated about potential legal issues, few anticipated that the situation would escalate so suddenly. Henyard's arrest marks the culmination of years of increasing scrutiny, mounting evidence, and growing public concern over her actions as a leader. The news has left Dolton and Thornton Township in disbelief, shaking a community already divided by her bold and often contentious leadership style. Critics, who have long decried her action as self-serving and reckless, are now feeling vindicated, viewing the arrest as confirmation of their claims. In contrast, Henyard loyal supporters are scrambling to make sense of the situation, defending her as a misunderstood and ambitious leader who has been unfairly targeted by political adversaries. Henyard's tenure has been marked by controversies, including accusations of excessive spending on personal luxuries and the appointment of an unqualified police chief. Despite facing repeated criticism, she maintained a defiant public image, often dismissing her critics as politically motivated while positioning herself as a trailblazer who was unfairly opposed. Arrest now shifts the narrative from political drama to a legal reckoning, casts her leadership in a new, troubling light. The community is left reeling, grappling with mixed emotions: shock, anger, sadness, and uncertainty over the implications of this dramatic turn of events for many of Henyard's detractors. This moment is seen as justice served for her supporters. It is a politically charged attack on a leader who refused to adhere to traditional rules. The arrest has thrust both Dolton and Thornton Township into a leadership crisis, leaving residents wondering what will happen next, with the fate of their controversial leader uncertain. The future of both communities hangs in the balance. Henyard's once defiant image as the super mayor now faces a significant redefinition, with her legacy potentially tainted by legal consequences.
At 6, embattled Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is mounting a re-election bid. Henyard made the announcement.
To understand the dramatic downfall of Mayor Tiffany Henyard, we must rewind and examine the chain of events that led to her arrest. From the moment she took office, Henyard's tenure as mayor of Dolton and Thornton Township supervisor was marked by controversy. Her leadership, often described as audacious and unapologetic, quickly gained notoriety, with allegations of corruption, misuse of taxpayer funds, and abuse of power emerging as recurring themes. Reports of extravagant spending, ranging from luxury travel and lavish events to questionable personal expenses, sparked outrage among residents who accused her of putting her own interests above public service. Her decisions, such as appointing unqualified individuals to key positions, further eroded public trust and amplified calls for accountability. Throughout it all, Henyard maintained a defiant stance, dismissing criticism as politically motivated and positioning herself as a trailblazer unfairly targeted by her opponents. However, the allegations continued to grow louder, leading to an FBI investigation that had quietly been building for months, if not years. The investigation examined a wide range of accusations, including financial misconduct, mismanagement of township resources, and possible backroom deals, raising serious doubts about Henyard's ethical standards. Public meetings became battlegrounds, with heated exchanges between Henyard and trustees reflecting the deep divisions within the community. Supporters praised her boldness, while critics saw her actions as reckless and self-serving, fueling a political storm that consumed the township. Ultimately, the audacious moves that once defined her leadership became the very issues that led to her undoing. Henyard's arrest by federal agents marked the shocking climax of a saga that had gripped Dolton and Thornton Township for years.
Until 2025, yet Tiffany Henyard has officially decided she wants to stay as mayor despite the cloud of controversy.
The arrest of Mayor Tiffany Henyard, also the Thornton Township supervisor and self-proclaimed super mayor, unfolded early this morning at her Dolton home, marking a pivotal moment in a saga that has gripped the south suburbs. Federal agents descended on the property in a dramatic turn of events, with witnesses noting the presence of her boyfriend Kamal Woods, who has faced controversies of his own. Woods reportedly watched as Henyard was led into custody, capping years of swirling allegations and an ongoing federal investigation into her administration. While the exact charges remain under wraps, sources suggest they include embezzlement, misuse of public funds, and obstruction of justice related to her handling of Dolton and Thornton Township's finances. To understand the gravity of Henyard's arrest, one must reflect on the long trail of controversies that have followed her since she assumed office in 2012. From the outset, her leadership was defined by a bold, larger-than-life persona. Was not content with merely being the mayor or township supervisor, she branded herself the Super Mayor, a title she proudly displayed on banners, billboards, and social media posts. Her face became ubiquitous across Dolton and Thornton Township, appearing on promotional materials, event flyers, and even village welcome signs, while supporters viewed her as a dynamic and approachable leader. Critics accused her of self-aggrandizement, using public resources to promote her image rather than serve the community. Henyard, however, dismissed these accusations with, amid these controversies, one of the most contentious projects during her administration was the infamous skating rink summer club, which was said to minimize sex slaves in case of police harassment, which is a $2 million endeavor that many residents believed was built without proper approval or adequate transparency. The rink, which critics argued was more of a vanity project than a true community asset, was only open during events hosted by Henyard herself. This fueled accusations that the rink served her personal ambitions rather than the needs of the community. Critics viewed the rink as a glaring example of Henyard's alleged misuse of taxpayer money to fund projects that elevated her public persona, often prioritizing her image over the practical governance of the donor. Supporters defended the initiative, arguing that Henyard's intent was to improve the community by bringing amenities and recreational opportunities to residents. They maintained that her bold approach to governance was misunderstood by those who opposed her vision. Despite these defenses, the financial controversies and accusations of reckless spending cast a shadow over her leadership, sowing distrust among residents and drawing scrutiny from auditors and watchdog groups as more details of her spending came to light. The community's dissatisfaction grew, board meetings became increasingly heated, with trustees and residents demanding answers and greater accountability. The allegations of unchecked spending, along with the perception that public funds were being diverted for personal or vanity projects, became central to the growing criticism of her administration, while Henyard's defenders continued to highlight her charisma and vision for community improvement. Her detractors pointed to the mounting evidence of financial mismanagement as a reflection of deeper issues within her leadership. The culmination of these financial scandals, combined with Henyard's defiant responses to critics, created an environment ripe for further scrutiny. Her combative relationship with local officials and trustees only fueled the sense that her leadership was unsustainable. This set the stage for the federal investigation that would ultimately lead to her arrest, marking a dramatic fall for a leader who had once been celebrated for her audacity and ambition. Her arrest represents the culmination of years of mounting tension with the south suburbs now left to reckon with the fallout of Henyard's dramatic downfall. The arrest has sent shockwaves through Dolton Thornton Township and the broader region, leaving residents to grapple with the implications of the charges and Henyard's legacy. For some, it represents a moment of vindication, proof that the long-standing allegations against her were not baseless. For others, it is the tragic end to a leader who promised to break barriers and connect with her constituents, but ultimately became a symbol of unchecked ambition and the dangers of a lack of accountability. As the details of the federal investigation unfold, the community is left to reflect on Henyard's rise and fall. Her tenure will likely be remembered not just for the audacity of her leadership, but for the financial mismanagement and personal indulgence that marred her time in office. The ongoing federal probe will determine whether Henyard will face criminal charges, but the damage to her reputation is already done. Her fall from grace serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power. The importance of transparency in leadership and the lasting impact of financial mismanagement on a community's trust in its leaders prevented Supervisor Tiffany Henyard from filing a vacancy on the board. So what is going on? And why is the Tiffany Henyard leadership style as contentious as her spending habits became a hallmark of her administration? Deepening divisions and raising eyebrows from the outset, her tenure was marked by frequent clashes with the Dolton Village Board of Trustees, which set the tone for a turbulent period in local governance meetings. Often, they descended into shouting matches with trustees accusing Henyard of overstepping her authority. In retaliation, she accused them of sabotage and obstruction. One particularly chaotic meeting saw Henyard storm out after being heckled by both residents and trustees shouting, "You all should be ashamed of yourselves," before leaving the room. These moments painted a picture of a leader who saw herself as under siege, battling not only her critics but the entire political establishment. Her combative approach extended far beyond boardrooms and became a defining feature of her public persona. Henyard frequently took to social media, airing grievances and targeting opponents through fiery Facebook Live broadcasts.